Hello, scholars, and welcome to weeks 3 and 4 of Applying Philosophy to Modern Global Issues. I was blown away by the great work you guys put in during the first week's lessons. What is the best way to orient ourselves to reality? How do we get into a zone which enables us to deal with harsh reality in the most natural way? That's what the Lao Tzu teaches. Do we do the right thing because it's right, or should we expect a return on any investment of virtue on our part? I think that's an idea at the core of the debate about drone strikes. How do we judge others? Should we focus on their character? That's what Aristotle suggests in virtue theory. Should we focus on the consequences of their action, or should we simply focus on the morality of their action themselves? Philosophers have wrestled with these questions down through the centuries. Thinking about them also helps political philosophers decide what the appropriate social contract should be between the people of a state and their government. Should the government be authoritarian and enforce virtue by restricting freedom? Or should the government trust the people to do the right thing and guarantee as much freedom as possible for all of its members? During Module 2, weeks 3 and 4 of the course, we'll be investigating the foundations which philosophers use to justify different forms of government. What is the nature of man? What type of government best suits our nature? We'll start by comparing Aristotle's virtue theory to Confucius's wisdom. In Aristotle's case, he argued that people who acquire virtue should have the freedom to determine their own government. Confucius argued that our quest for virtue should lead us to offer obedience to our ancestors' tradition within an authoritarian state. We'll have a graded discussion on this topic, Aristotle versus Confucius, which is due Tuesday, September 12th by 11:59 p.m. Next, we'll consider the theories of human nature which have dominated Western thought since the Greek Golden Age. We'll read about Plato's conception of the divided soul and compare it with contemporary psychologist Jonathan Haidt's conception of the elephant rider. A graded discussion comparing Plato and Jonathan Haidt on the divided self is due Thursday, September 14th by 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. The understanding that contemporary anthropologists have about the nature of our species has changed over the last 20 years. Recent archaeological finds and analysis of the DNA of our ancestors have partly unveiled this previously invisible era in human development. What is the biological form of Homo sapiens, which has existed on Earth for the past 50,000 years? We'll talk about this in a graded discussion due next Sunday on how did Homo sapiens become the dominant species on Earth. With an understanding of anthropology's conception of man and the state of nature, we'll then break into groups to create presentations next week which investigate the ways that political philosophers have conceived of man and the state of nature. What sort of government did they think best suits Homo sapiens? What social contract should exist between a government and the people it serves? How might their theories have shifted considering the discoveries of recent anthropology? As part of your presentation, you'll find a country in our contemporary world which fits your philosopher's conception of human nature and the best frame of government. So, you have a collaborative group project on man and the state of nature, which will be due not this Friday, but the following Friday, September 22nd by 11:30 p.m. You'll create this presentation in Google Slides, you'll choose a political philosopher to research, and you'll work with a partner to develop a presentation at a distance. Part of the project involves an organizational Zoom or Skype meeting, which should take place by Tuesday, September 19th. We'll finally post our presentations in a gallery and check out what our classmates have created. We'll make comments on each other's work and also reflect on how the collaboration process went during this module. What went well? What can we do better? What have we learned about human nature and theories of government? So we'll finally have a graded discussion on Sunday. What date is that? Sunday the 24th. And we'll talk about how we did in each other's projects and reflect on our collaboration. Let me make one more suggestion before I sign off here. Gosh, I'm already up to 5 minutes. Sorry. You should try to make your initial videos only about 2.5 minutes long, and try to make your responses as succinct as possible. That way we can take discussions to the next level. And hopefully you can post your initial video as early as possible and return to the discussion a few times before the discussion window closes. That's it now. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you online in the upcoming 2 weeks. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to Slack me, email me, or Zoom me. See you later.